Hello and welcome to See If It Sticks, the podcast that tries to figure out all your pointless problems.
The end.
That's it.
Thank you. See you again next week.
That is it in a nutshell, though, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. That really is it in a nutshell. Yeah. So, I'm Dom.
I'm Ross.
I'm Dan.
So, each week we come with a few problems each, mainly first world problems. We're trying to find the... I'm never doing this again.
He desperately wanted to do it this week. He was like, oh, can I please do it this week, Ross? If you don't mind, can I please have my turn this week?
And it's gone terribly.
No, it's gone all right.
Write it down in the future. I'll write epics that will span...
We need a whiteboard. I mean, you can just write it in massive letters on the back of the wall. There you go.
That's true.
Problem solved.
Problem solved. First world problem for how to introduce your podcast. Solution. Get a whiteboard.
Doesn't get any more first world than that, does it?
Actually, that what you just said there and what that little interplay we just had actually sort of sets out the podcast pretty well.
Has that summed it up?
That's pretty much summed it up. We have a ridiculous...
That's how good we are at
privilege
solving
problem.
problems.
That's it.
We'd solve them without even realising we were solving them.
First 2 minutes.
That's it.
Problem solved.
Boom. So who wants to start this week with their problems?
Who's got a good one? I started last week.
You did start last week. He's done the intro, so I've got one for you.
Okay, cool. Go ahead.
This one is going to ring more true for people who are listening in Great Britain, United Kingdom, whatever you want to call it, than anywhere else in the world. People who can't queue. In my mind, there is a really specific way to queue. And I don't mean like people who join a queue line like at a theme park or something like that and they cut in with family and shit like that. That I can deal with. They're just being wankers. But when there's a loosely formed queue and people can't hack it. I was in Boots the other day and there was a bus of like visiting school children all queuing up. So the queue had overspilled from the formed queuing area.
From the tapered off section.
The queue barriers.
Yeah, the queue barriers, if you will.
That's what we call them in the industry.
Ah, okay. Well, I've learnt something new today already.
Yeah.
And it was just chaos. And the problem is, you can't slap 12-year-old Spanish kids. Or I've been led to believe you can't.
You're more likely to get away with it than you are snapping an English kid, I think.
Well,
Possibly.
okay.
Possibly.
Maybe I should have done that. But it was just chaos because they're all trying to come in. It's not like they're meeting anyone in the queue. They just see a friend and then they're diving in, and it was just ludicrous. I've never experienced torment like it.
The problem I have the most is in McDonald's when they've got like the big long surface of cashiers. So there's like 8 cashiers in a row, and you've got a single queue going in to that entrance area, and it kind of like the way I see the queue should be is a long narrow queue, and then when they go, can I help you, the person from the front of that queue moves over to that section, right?
Yes.
So what I find is I'll be queuing up somewhere and someone will start a new queue to my left, and that fucking infuriates me.
Yeah, I've seen that as well.
I want to get a bloody straw and jam it in their eye.
Well, the thing is, the employees... The employees of McDonald's don't do anything to help that either, though, do they? Because they don't make eye contact with the next person in the correctly formed queue and say, can I help you? They just go, is anyone waiting?
For that much money, would you give a shit?
And everyone's
Absolutely
waiting.
not, but shouldn't everyone give a shit about proper queuing etiquette?
Absolutely.
Well, I know I do at work. I work at a retail establishment. And we have a designated queue barrier
Do you
area.
have like one of those little S systems that
No,
goes left and
no.
right?
Because of the size of the shop, it's only just a straight line in the middle of the shop.
It's actually out the back of a van.
Yeah. And people tend to try, because there's 4 tills, say, you're supposed to, as you just mentioned, a single line in the middle and then peel off when you're at the front of the line.
That's
and
it.
whoever's free next, you go to. Now, people try and circumvent this system by getting either side of these queue barriers. And I'm always very, what's the word?
On top of it?
On top of it, yeah. Vigilant.
Yes,
in fact, that was the word I was looking for.
that's the word, yeah.
I'm very vigilant in making sure people are in the right place at the right time. So if someone walks towards me, I'm like,
Fuck it, get to the back.
no, I'm just like, well, there's a queue there, mate. Or if they're coming towards me, like, no, he was next. And he was like, well, I'll go, no, go to the back of the line. And I'm always very vigilant with that. So this is This is something I'm quite passionate about as well.
Yeah.
People like us in the queue are like, hurrah. When we
Yeah.
see people like you, we're like,
Yeah,
I'm the
right
saviour
on.
of the queue.
there's a shop, without naming any names, that
what does it rhyme with?
James Trees,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Sainsbury's.
Yeah. No, I was just sort of going, that doesn't rhyme.
It kind of rhymes, and you
No,
enough that you got it.
tell me something that rhymes with Sainsbury's.
Bainsbury's.
I might fuck off. Okay. Well, the Sainsbury's in Canterbury, at the cigarette kiosk, which I don't visit so much anymore because I've quit smoking.
I can picture it.
They used to have, when I was younger, and certainly when I did smoke, or when I started smoking when I was about 16, 17, they had a barrier there. And the rules are, for the kiosk, is that you have to have less than 5 items or less. You used to have to queue from this one particular side, and then you would get called across, like you do in most sane establishments, to the nearest person. And in general, there's 3 people there serving on the tills, and there's 1 person on the customer service desk, who sometimes, if there's only 1 or 2 people on the tills, they come and see to other customers. Now, for some reason, about 3 or 4 years ago, they removed the barrier there.
Outrage.
Which now means that it's madness. You can queue up there, and there can be a clearly formed queue, but then someone will come in and skip straight down to the end of it, which is fine if you are trying to see a designated customer service representative, because
they're all together, aren't they, on the same,
that
the same
is,
thing?
that is a separate thing.
Yeah.
They need to stop that. If that customer service person is currently serving on a till, they need to stop serving the till, and they need to go and see to this, because it's probably going to be a complaint or something. But some people, some wankers, just go in there and see fit to form 3 separate queues for the 3 separate tills, or try to, because normally what they do is they just fuck me off, and then I end up going, there's a queue here, mate. And then you're in this situation where you're this, I feel like Batman. I'm like, I'm stopping injustice in Sainsbury's Canterbury. But normally it's, a elderly drunk man who wants to buy, 20 sterling or whatever. And then he's got something to say about it. And then, I've had arguments in a queue where I'm just like, well, I've been waiting here, admittedly not for long, but it's just infuriating.
I agree.
I agree too.
I think they should be taken out into the street and stoned, if I'm honest. Like the good old days.
Well, I don't know if I'd advocate stoning in any society. But certainly they are the scum of the earth.
They are, yeah.
They are.
I'll tell you what we should do, the good old British tut.
But some people don't respond to that.
No, they don't, no. But they know. They know it's happened. Most of the people that cut those lines, if I was to form a new line, I'd know I was doing it. I
Yeah.
just wouldn't give a shit. So
Absolutely.
that's what it comes down to.
So you think
It's-
the problem is that people just don't give a fuck?
I think that is really what the problem is, yeah. It's a new society. People are very different, very selfish, and they're only looking out for themselves.
But then without queuing, what do we have? There is no order to the world without queues.
Especially not Britain, no.
Some men just want to watch the world burn, Dan.
They do.
Yeah. I mean, I appreciate a good queue line, but they seem to be becoming less and less these days.
I mean, especially when you go overseas, you really do see how integral queuing is to British society.
Oh, yeah,
Absolutely.
in France, there is no queuing, is there?
No, it's just like first guy to the thing wins.
Yeah. And they don't argue about it either. Over here, if someone would have pushed in front of someone would at least say, some elderly lady would go, I was first, or something like that. Whereas over in France, they don't really care. Oh, hello.
What was that? Hard drives flying left and right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I find it the worst in pubs. And I know there's certain rules that...
But with the pub, the guy moves up and down the bar, doesn't he? There's never any fair.
I see that there's certain rules. If you're a barman, serve the ones with boobs first.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
And I know that, there's certain things you don't do to...
The person who's clicking their fingers, you serve
if
him
you're
last.
clicking and trying to lean over the bar and waving money in front of them, you're not going to get served. I know that. So I'm that guy that stands there politely making eye contact and smiling and tilting my head up when he says, who's next, instead of going, me. And I still, just takes me ages to get served. And then I find that by being a dick about it, I get served quicker for some reason.
I think most of those guys are on autopilot, and they, without the almost slap around the face, they don't come to you.
Yeah.
I feel like, but at the times I've spent working on a bar, I'm just going up and down the bar, and I'm trying to keep track of who's first and who's not, but I don't really care. And yeah, I think it's just, the guy who's being a dick obviously gets ignored. The guy who's being polite gets ignored by accident.
And once again, this is a very British thing, because in other countries you have like table service for drinks.
Yeah.
And a lot of other places, like most European places, and in America especially, they have a lot of table service, and then that way is the most fair way, unless the waiter or waitress is being unfair about which table she goes to first. The drinks are being made in order.
That brings another problem to the table, though.
What?
Service charge.
Just say no. I don't believe in paying people more for the job they're getting paid to do.
But then they'll wipe their, helmet around the edge of your drink.
Hopefully.
I'd pay the service charge for that, Ross.
We're talking about if you don't pay it.
Oh, right, sorry.
But yeah. So, and I've worked on bars as well, and I've always tried to keep to the philosophy, if there's a guy there going, hey, mate, hey, whistling at you or something like that, I never serve them.
No. And the thing is, this is such a small thing. I'll tell you this little story. My girlfriend and I went to London last weekend, right? And we went to this wine bar.
Oh, la-di-da.
Well, it's really nice. I went there with Dom a little while ago.
Gordon's Wine Bar by Charing Cross?
That is the one, yeah, to order ourselves a nice Malbec. And there were 3 couples at the bar when we got there. So, and only 2 menus. So we waited until these 2 couples had excused themselves from the bar, picked up a menu. I showed her the drink that I'd had with Dom before. I said it was really nice. We decided to order it while the guy is serving the second couple who were just getting served. He finishes with them and asks, who's next? So I say, yes, please, mate, we'll have this. This woman next to me, this middle-aged woman, goes, oh, actually, we were next. So she's been a dick about it, and I've turned around, I was like, yeah, really? Okay, whatever. So, it's only inconvenienced us by, it took 2 minutes for the guy to pour her and her husband, her Apple Watch wearing husband.
Oh, what a dick. We generally do get served the first day, Dan. We were there before we were there.
Yeah,
that's the problem.
Okay,
so you didn't see
you
us.
reserved your spot at the bar.
But we were there already. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was 2 minutes for him to pour them the drink, them to hand over the cash, and while they were actually paying on card, he was already pouring me my 2 glasses of wine. So it put us out by no more than 2 minutes. But when we got out to the smoking area, Maddie and I were vaping. They were sitting there out in the sun. By the way, they got the last spot in the sun as well,
Sluts.
which is even worse. They're sitting there giving us daggers. And Maddie...
Why?
Because we almost got served 2 minutes before them. And then Maddie, bearing in mind this is obviously a very abrupt, awful middle-aged woman with her husband who just... Obviously, I just don't even think he wanted to be there.
In a bit of a loveless relationship.
He's got an Apple Watch on. He doesn't want to get in a Barney with me.
No. People with Apple Watches don't like getting in Barney's.
No. And Maddie is stood there. This woman is just staring us down. Maddie is stood there going, those fucking pricks. Like, really loudly, go on, go over there, Dan. And I'm like, well, I'm
choke him out with his Apple Watch.
Yeah, I'm standing there thinking, oh god, don't go and get me in this argument because that woman is terrifying and her husband is not. I don't want to get in an argument with him. It's a 2-minute thing. It was no real impact into our lives because we got the wine 2 minutes later. It was fine. It was delicious wine. We're outside. It was a lovely day. They got their wine as well. They got the seats. I'm a little bit bitter about that, but. That is, that was a good hour that's impacted our lives then because of improper queuing. It's impacted our lives because then we're meeting people for lunch and telling the story. I'm even telling you now, it's continued on for a week and a half.
Just because they got
Just
there.
because they made a fuss about, allegedly us not being proper queuists.
Well, I don't see a way in which we can we can solve this without having some kind of queue police. Some people there who are specifically designed.
We can't do queue police because last week we did pissing police.
Yeah. Yeah, I know.
It's true.
We're going to turn England into a police state where everything you do has to be overwatched by a man in a uniform and a shock prod.
We also can't have any more like petty police because it just opens up Dom to do more accents, more racist accents.
I don't know what you're talking about, racist accents. Actually, funny enough...
No.
No.
I thought we were going to get an example then.
No. No, I have a solution which
Okay.
comes from the new movie, which I watched yesterday, which everybody else has probably watched before me, Jurassic World. Now, all the dinosaurs that are in this island, they use what's called an invisible fence system, where
Yeah.
everybody has a tracker inside under their skin. All these dinosaurs
Blows their head off.
No. When they step out of when they get out of where they're supposed to be, the area they're supposed to be, it shocks them and puts them, back into where they're supposed to be. Now, I'm not saying we implant every man, woman, and child in Britain with these shocking transmitters, and when you go into a shop, they're activated. And if you go out of the queuing line,
Yeah, because that is so much less police state than a queue police.
Why don't we just do the elderly and the slightly grey-haired? Because they're the ones who tend to step out of line the most.
no. It's generally like young people, I find.
Yeah, I do find there's more young people.
No, it's the old dears that uphold.
They're less
the
likely to
tradition.
shit themselves when they get electrocuted, though, and they're less hilarious. Even my kidding, I'd shit myself if I got electrocuted.
Or maybe that's what we need. Maybe we just need one old nan. Like everyone's like, the every nan. Everyone's nan's the same, right?
Yeah.
But have the every nan who just stands in line, and then when you go out, you get the huge like that, or
Yeah.
like she sort of like wraps you with a walking stick. And goes, get back in line.
And they'd probably volunteer as well.
They would,
Free, yeah.
And also, it's giving community outreach to the old age pensioners.
It could be really good because I hear a lot of older people who have retired say that the worst thing you can do when you're old is to stop doing things.
Exactly.
And you could pay them in hard-boiled sweets.
It's perfect.
It is, we could get rid of that sugar that everyone's not eating now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
This surplus of sweets.
Mm.
Now that we all eat so healthy.
So
Wow.
is that solved then, is it? We're going to
Well,
get the elderly to police the
So the
queues.
elderly need to police
But
queues.
we're policing the queues, like you said you didn't want to police the
No,
queues.
no. But in this way, it's a very soft policing because it's like your nan. And no one, like just some old blue hair with like a bit of a long coat, flowery dress, and just a cane. And she's just sitting there, and she sits there all day. She's got a little seat. She's got a little area that's all her own.
She's got a
maybe a
nail
telly.
through the bottom of it.
Maybe a telly with like 15-1 on, or like Wimbledon playing just constantly, and then when there's like a sort of a queuing moment, she just walks up and down the line. She says, "Oh, hello, dear," or whatever. Just sort of talks to people, and then when someone steps out of line, that comes out.
Yeah.
And no one wants to upset their nan, do they? Everybody loves their nan.
No.
And I think it's a very nice pastoral care type of way of dealing with the queuing issue.
I like it.
Well, I think it's a great idea.
I totally agree.
I don't even think I need to pitch anything because that has basically done the job.
I mean, I was going to hire in extra, Met Police to come and sort this problem out, and that was going to cost the UK billions.
I was just going to
Yeah.
say that maybe places should start to, put barriers back inside, but
Like proper barriers, like a full-on line that goes all the way around the store, so in case the line ever gets long.
like barbed wire, razor wire
That's it,
fences.
yeah. And 20 metre high fences with some razor wire on the top.
All you need is a nan.
You do need a nan, yeah.
Okay. Well,
I like it.
problem solved. I'll call my nan up now and tell her to get down Mackie D's.
I know, right? So,
who's going next?
I think you should go next, Ross.
Okay, I've got one for
How
you.
many ramblings have you got this week?
You know what?
Have you got a list of
List of
unintelligible
random words.
babble?
Hold on, I've got it written on my hand.
It just says
it's all wiped off.
it just says cabbage.
It all goes wrong when you get to your 30s, doesn't it, Ross?
This week I've gone through my list and just picked out two and then just memorised them, so I know what they are.
okay.
So this week, if I need two, I've got two. Any more than that, though, we're going to have to refer to the list, which is actually in the other room, and I'm not going to have a clue what I'm talking about. So
It's got this beautiful mind-type wall with bits of yarn put between words.
pictures of old ladies with sticks. No, my problem and this is a problem that infuriates me more around Christmas time than anywhere else, and more at Blue Water than anywhere else. As you
People.
yeah, queues. The car parks, and the problem I have with the car parks is generally I'm late. I don't know if you've met me before, but I'm always late for
Ross
everything.
is always late. What is
You're not one to talk, Dan.
what are the first two digits on your number plate?
Well, my parents thought it was hilarious. They obviously had too much money when I was younger. But for my 21st birthday, they bought me a personalised plate. When the first two letters are L8 for late, and then she bought everybody else in the family W8 for wait. So they all think it's hilarious. I just, I like having a personalised plate. It makes me look like I'm rich.
Dan's not one to talk either, because he's always late to everything as well.
I know.
Well, Don was early today. I took the dog for a walk and came back, and there he was perched on my doorstep.
Well, I mean, I do have a bit of a reputation for getting places on time.
Dom is always on time.
Is he?
Sometimes to the second.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's sick.
I'm getting better, but not a lot.
I thought I was getting better because when I actually started dating Maddie, you sort of like put that effort in to try to get places on time. If I say I'm going to pick her up at 8, I will try to be there at 8. And she was the same. But then once we had been together for a little while, it turned out that, she admitted that she was putting extra effort in and she's usually late. And I said, oh, well, to be fair, I'm always late as well. I'm putting in extra special effort to be on time for you. And now we've combined and we've just started, I am often late, but it's got crazy now.
So you both always half hour to an hour late each time, or are you now both on time?
Well, we sort of combine. So whereas, usually I'd be maybe 20 minutes late and she'd be 20 minutes late for something, now we're just sort of combining so that we're turning up for events 45 minutes late.
But together.
Yeah. The other week at the pub, what was that for? We were meeting up for something. I was waiting in Weatherspoons for you and Maddie with Jem, with my girlfriend Jem.
I can't remember what it was for,
and we were supposed to be there at 8 o'clock, I think.
8, yeah.
And I was just like, oh, Dan and Maddie will be along soon. And you guys turned up at 9. So you were a full hour late.
Yeah.
Full hour. Not one text. Not one text.
There's no reception in there. I did text you. You're getting through next year or something.
Yeah.
I always text. They go, I'm running late. But everyone's got at least 8 of those messages on their phone at one time from me all saying I'm late. But I read an article recently that said that it had done proper scientific research into it, and it's generally optimistic people who are late, and I'm quite an optimistic, positive person. They reckon that what it is that you're so optimistic that you're going to fit all these tasks into this window of time, and they're never going to fit. So I kind of see their point, and I think that's how my brain works. But I think I've got an hour, I've got time for a shower, I've got time to do these other random tasks, I've got time to stare into the sky and pace up and down for a minute, and then I've got time to drive there and get there, and it never works.
I would agree with that because I am, for those of you who know me, I'm incredibly pessimistic.
Are you? That's why you're always on time?
Because I'm always on time because I think I'm going to be late.
No, I'm always...
So that's the thing. I'm the half empty guy who if I don't leave now, I'm going to be late.
Yeah, I can see why it would be optimistic people because, when I'm coming here, I know I need to get here for 5:30, and I know that in rush hour traffic, it's going to take me half an hour to get from my house to your house. But I kind of think, well, it could be done in 20 minutes.
That's the same way as I think, yeah.
So if it, I could either get straight home sweating after walking home from work and get straight in the car, or I can just sit down for 10 minutes because I could do it in 20, potentially I could do it in 20 minutes, but I'm always going to be 10 minutes late.
I went to meet my friend Oz today, and I watched a tutorial on how to put a solid state hard drive in an iMac, and it said, allow 40 minutes, and I had 20 minutes, and I was like, I'm going to do that before I go. I didn't get it finished. Absolutely did not get it finished, and I was late. by 13 minutes-ish. So that's me anyway, yeah. But my point, car parks, so I'm always late and I'm always in a rush. I tend to be a little heavy-footed in some car parks when I'm trying to find a space. And when you drive up and down the aisles and you're going up and down and you're looking for that space and you're not always going as slow as you possibly should be going in a car park. And then you see a space and you go for it, little car.
Oh, yeah.
Stupid fucking city cars. That's what I'm getting at. This is my point. And they need to be fucking more considerate. And I think the solution is just for them to stop being dicks and park at the front of the line so I can see the front of their car. But that's kind of I don't really.
I know.
I'm totally with you.
That happened to me yesterday.
Ooh, it makes me mad.
Ooh. Yes, because I was really searching for a space yesterday. Down at like Bexley Heath, there's like an underground car park at the top of the high street, and I was driving around. It was completely full, and I was just driving around. I was like 10, 15 minutes, like just up and down. It's only a little car park as well. I saw, and I was like, "There's a space," and I was really hungover as well. So you know how angry you get when you're hungover.
Yeah.
And I just went to zoom in, and I almost cracked into the back of this thing because I was trying to get into it so fast. Because it's a competitive field as well when you're in car parks. Because people start going down the wrong way on places just to get a space. And I was facing off against this guy in a BMW, and he was just like, and I was like, and I just took the initiative and went, and I just sat there, and then I see him, and he's going into a space on the other side, and I'm just like, no.
Have you seen the film Van Wilder, where they have the face-off, where Van Wilder's in that little buggy at one end, and he's in his Mercedes, and that's got a little car parked in a space. He swings in and smashes straight through it. Yeah, that's good.
I think there's a bit on is it a Family Guy or is it The Simpsons or something like that, where he's driving around a car park and then it goes round and round and round, and it's American Dad.
Yeah,
where he's trying to quickly get into a space, and someone keeps getting in there, and then he goes around the car park, and there's a little compact car in there, and he's like, and then he goes around the car park, and the same thing happens again. He goes to go in a space, and someone gets in there, and he gets the same car again. And he's just like, oh god damn it.
Doesn't he end up just like parking his car on top of the little car?
Something like that, yeah.
The only way I can see around it is technology based and probably more expensive than anybody's ever willing to spend on their car parks. But
super lasers.
That's what I thought.
Super fucking lasers, yeah. But just like like parking sensors on a car, but have the parking sensors on the parking space.
Well, I once parked in a big shopping centre, and above all of the spaces they have a little light.
No.
So that if someone's in the space, it goes red. If the space is free, it goes green. So you can see at a glance, you can look across the car park and see where the empty spaces are.
That's fucking amazing.
That was going to be my solution.
I can't remember where it was.
Westfield?
It might be Westfield. I don't think I was actually parking there. I don't think I was actually parking there, but I did see that. And also in that same car park, I think you could download some sort of app or go online and you could check on your car.
No.
Yeah.
What?
Oh yeah.
What, like on CCTV?
Yeah. So
wow.
like for every, I don't know how it would really work, but it looked like for every sort of like bay of 7 or 8 cars, there was CCTV, like a little like webcam overlooking them. Which I guess
we live in.
I guess that's what monitors the spaces to light up the lights. And then you can just use that to check on your car.
You need to tell me where it is. I'm going to go there and park there just so I can do all this stuff.
That's
I'll have to find out where it is. It
cool.
might be Westfield or something like that.
It sounds
Westfield-y, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Does Westfield have a big car park? Because I thought the one I went to didn't have one at
There's
all.
two.
I don't know.
So you've got White City and you've got Stratford, and Stratford's the better one.
Shepherd's Bush, the other one, isn't it?
Yeah, it's White City, yeah.
White City, yeah. Why is that called White City, Dom?
White City's BBC, isn't it?
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh.
Because it's near the old BBC television centre, which is in White City. I don't know why it's called White City, Ross, and I'm not having you trying to sandbag me into some sort of pseudo racial comment.
There's no cameras in here, but I'm sitting here with one eyebrow raised while they're trying to explain it.
Well, I think I've got a solution to this problem if people don't want to pay all that money. Because obviously that is a 21st century solution, but it's going to cost a lot of money.
It's well expensive, yeah.
Yeah. Especially if it's a big car park. But what I was thinking is, when you're in a car park and there's designated parking for motorbikes.
Yep.
Have that for little cars. Because I've seen pictures online of those like little smart cars, because they can fit in parking spaces widthways, can't they?
Yeah.
You can get 3 of those smart cars, or two or three of those smart cars into a normal parking space if they park
side on. Yeah.
Yeah. So have little compact car parking. The perks of parking in your little smart car space would be, I guess, that you can have them where the motorbikes are, which are always down by the door.
Yeah.
They're not going to take up much room. They're not going to be really imposed on anyone. And plus, there's not as many of them as regular sized cars. So you park in there, so then no one is going to mistake your fucking space for being free, and then that's them. They get the extra benefits, and they're finally going to see some sort of benefit from driving a stupid car.
Yeah.
And we get the benefit of not almost crashing into the back of them every single time.
Whenever I see a smart car, I always think that if they broke hard enough, it would do a roly-poly.
The engines fall out of them. Did you know that?
Did they?
Well, I don't know if that's still
If you
happens.
brake hard, they just carry it and go.
But where you're basically
Yeah,
where you're basically sitting up above the engine.
Yeah.
If you crash your car, you're just going to get crushed by the engine. So they're designed so that if there's an impact, the engine just falls out.
And hits a pedestrian instead.
It's got like an ejector seat.
Yeah,
But no,
it goes 50 feet in the air.
they are well known for rolling forward as well as side to side,
Really?
because where they're so light, say you're going over like a bridge, that's high up and there's a lot of crosswind, they get blown between lane to lane, and sometimes they can get blown over because they're small, but they're also fairly high, so you can still fit in them. And also, there's been instances where people have broken, as you say, really hard, and they've just gone bloop, 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 head over heels. And, and because they're so thin and stuff, they just crush the people inside because they're so lightweight and not very strong.
My dad had if you remember, the Daihatsu Mini Jet. It was a van, but it was a really stumpy little van. They were all blue for some reason.
I think I remember
really
those, yeah.
short, stumpy little van, but it was van shaped. It was full-size van shaped. But it was, because normally the little vans have got like a bonnet or something, but this was flat at the front, and the engine was underneath the passenger seat in the front as well, and the back was quite low down. And that I had the back wheels off the ground on that.
Really?
Yeah, because it had really good brakes and really tiny little wheels.
Yeah, I do remember those actually.
Yeah,
They use those a lot in like China and stuff like that, and Thailand and things. I don't know why, because they've got big roads. Come on now.
I'm waiting for it.
No, I'm just saying they use a lot in like...
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, my dad had one of those for a short while he was building up his business. Before he bought a proper van, he had that tiny little thing, and it was just the worst. It was very bad.
All those kind of little compact things are just so awful, though.
Yeah, I like my big vehicles. I like the big vans. I like big cars.
Yeah, I mean, I know mine isn't exactly the biggest car in the world. It's a Vauxhall Corsa, but I can fit things in it. If I want to go shopping, I can fit shopping in it. If I want to take my drums somewhere, I can just about fit my drums in there and the person.
Do you park considerately? Do you park at the front of the lines of the space, Dan?
Well, yeah, I always park considerately.
That's all right then.
Yeah. I'd like to think that I'm a pretty, mindful driver.
Good. And a parker. Mindful parker.
Mindful parker, yeah.
Good. I like this. I normally leave mine sticking out over the line about 4 or 5 foot.
Well,
Everyone has to swerve around it.
Inviting people to hit the
actually,
park car.
that being said, I park how I think that you should park, unless the person parking next to me has parked like a dick, because then they're never getting in their car,
No, absolutely
or
not,
back
no.
out, and sometimes I've been known to back right up to their boot as well.
We're so vengeful. We're such vengeful parkers.
Especially if they're at like a supermarket or something like that. I know they want to put shopping in the boot. I will back right up to it, so they will never get in there.
Absolutely.
I got, there was years that I worked in that supermarket, and people dinged my car all the time. And then one day, I went outside, and there was a little note on my windshield, and I knew what it was about immediately because there was this like a scrape up the side of my passenger side door. So I grab the note, read it. It's written this like real spindly fucking writing.
It's the old 80s, mate.
Said, I'm really sorry. I knocked your door. Here's my contact details. Please contact me. I'm happy to pay for any repair. I, sincerely apologise. So I just thought, oh yeah, well, I'm going to go get a quote to do all of the panels on this car, get them all sorted out, and then tell whoever the fuck this is, it was that much damage. There was some underlying, it's
mechanical,
caused some issue, and I called this number, and it was just the oldest lady. And she was so apologetic, and I just ended up telling her not to worry about it.
Yeah.
And I just said, thank you so much for the note. Like, I hope you weren't worried too much about it. It's not a problem. It's a crap car, and you can't make it look any worse.
Coming back to my previous point, no one is going to have a go at their nan.
No. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
It's reinforcing your point.
You just strengthen my Q-Nan's position.
This was going to be my solution to the car parking problem. I was going to bring in the queue nans when they weren't busy to police the car parks and cut some fucking tyres.
Oh, what? So you can have them solving other problems.
Yeah, so when they're not busy, you know, because you've got to keep busy when you're old.
Yeah.
Go around with a Stanley knife and cut some fucking tyres.
No, you don't even need them to be that violent. See, you could have car park nans.
Well, they just stand there and tut.
So they're just standing there, and they see one of these compact cars come in, so they follow them round, and they're just sitting there at the front, watching them. And you can either you're pulling in front ways, you can see them in your rearview mirror. You're reversing, you can see them right in front of you. And if you're going in too far, you can just see them go shaking their heads very slowly with that nan look, just going.
Are they like Batman? They just appear out of nowhere.
No,
so you're just reversing, and you look in front of you, and then you look behind, and there's a man.
I'm thinking we should do is marry retirement homes to big business.
What about, okay, because we've been focusing on elderly females, what about if the car park attendants are the elderly males?
Your granddad.
Because they need some, because they can be out there, like you can just have them, like for every line of the car park, granddad at the end doing a little bit of tinkering on his car. And then, you know,
you can have them do up your car as waiting.
As people are going to park, they do that sort of like granddad thing where like they're still doing it, but you can see them watching you.
He's standing there with his oily rag in his hand.
Yeah, just wiping his hands, like shaking his head, like, well, you wouldn't have got that in my day.
No.
And then when he goes, you know, he goes over there and he's like, you know, doing the old like tapping on the bonnet, like, you know, where'd you get this from then, and this sort of thing, and he can just make granddad conversation, which is always like got an underlying tone of cutting sarcasm
and lecture.
Oh, well, where did you learn to park?
Yeah. I've had that today. I've been married for granddads.
Where did you get this? Where did you get this smart car? The Matchbox factory. That sort of thing. And then it might even discourage people from buying the stupid cars in the first place.
In my mind, I can see him working on a Mark 1 blue Vauxhall Nova.
Ooh,
that's what I can see him working on. And he's had it from new.
Yeah. My granddad had like, do you remember like Granadas?
Yeah, I remember.
My granddad had a Granada from new until about 2004. It was ridiculous.
They were tanks.
Yeah, mate. They're basically just Mondeos, they weren't they? I don't know.
Well, I think Mondeo replaced the Granada, I think.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Okay. See, that's granddad conversation.
That is granddad conversation.
There. So you could be driving up in your Mondeo and he'd just be like, I used to have one of these Granada at the time. I don't know whose granddad sounds like that.
I think it's perfect.
Yeah. So basically, our other solution are car park granddads.
Well,
apart from the solution that's already been solved with the lights and the cameras.
Yeah, but that is pricey. So I would personally suggest allocated parking for stupid cars.
Yeah, no, I agree. I do agree with that. But then eventually, if in a busy time and the fact that so many people own stupid cars now, they're going to start parking in our spaces, and we're going to be so sure that they're not there anymore. We're going to come into those parking spaces faster and harder than ever before. Yeah, it's going to cause problems.
I vote car park granddads.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go with car park granddads
too. You'd have to pay them in Werther's Originals and...
Yeah, or Haynes manuals.
Haynes manuals and Werther's Originals.
What happens if like they get off task though? Like you know, I'm going into work, like wherever, you know, I've just hired car park granddad. I drive past and go in a space, and by fuck, there's a tiny car in there. So I go up and I'm like, "Here, Trevor, what is going on?" And he's just like not listening to me because he's like sort of like pom-pomming and tinkering with his lawnmower or something.
He doesn't get any bored sweets, Dan. That's what happens.
That's it.
It's just punishment. He doesn't get any bored sweets.
Or you take the Q-Nan out of the shop, bring her into the car park, and then
she gives him a ticking off.
Q-Nan berates car park granddad, and then we've got a living ecosystem there. Every time car park granddad gets out of line, bring Q-Nan in. Q-Nan may be off the job for maybe like 2-3 minutes, because I mean everybody's now can give their granddad a right ticking off. Then just put Q-Nan back in a little place. Car park granddad gets back on task. Bish bash bosh. We've got a perfect, inexpensive solution to everything.
I think that's great.
I think we've just fixed Britain. I think in one solution or two solutions, we've just fixed the whole thing.
We need to write to the government.
Old age just pensions as well, because you'll give them a little bit of cash for it. Well, I mean,
maybe you could like subsidise their pensions.
It doesn't cost much to double their pension, does it?
David Cameron, I've solved your pension problem, mate.
Well, you haven't. You've just doubled it. But yeah.
Well, no, because they get paid by the businesses that they're working for.
Ah.
So, like, say you had a Q-Nan in Tesco's would pay her.
In Bourbon biscuits.
But she still gets her pension from the government. So
and also,
very small pension.
They wouldn't want much money because, like, they're probably used to working for, like, a shilling a day.
Exactly. Down the mines.
You could just be like, we'll offer you £6 an hour. And they'll be like, oh, you could have got 300 boiled sweets back in the 50s for that.
And Grandad's like, you could have got 50 Hain manuals in the 50s for that,
Maybe you could install, like, on like aircraft carriers, they've got those like mechanized, like they're not chocks, but because fighter jets have got such a small space to take off, they catapult the jet off the end of the carrier.
Yeah.
Maybe you could install those kind of things in car parks, a bit like when you go and get your car washed and it pushes you through. Yeah. Maybe if you park like a dick, it just moves your car forward.
Yeah, I like that.
And hopefully, potentially, ruins your clutch or gears or whatever it would ruin.
Still, again, expensive.
That's pretty more expensive than the light bulb system.
Yeah. Probably.
And if you're going to have one of those things, you might as well have it catapult them straight out of the fucking car park into the woods next door.
Yeah.
Just a pile of like smart cars, Rover City cars.
I do like this new plan better.
Just lying there, mouldering, and like in the future, like post-apocalyptic future, people will come and they'll see and they go, Daddy, why is this giant pile of metal here? Well, when people got annoyed at other people for parking, well, they wouldn't know what parking was because it's post-apocalyptic. When people got annoyed with other people putting their metal horses where they're not supposed to be, they throw them off the top of tall edifices.
Or they should just stop selling. It's not smelling. Should just stop I can't do it.
Smelling?
What's happened? My brain's melted.
Just some car designer just going up there.
No more small cars.
No more small cars.
No more small cars. That's the plan.
So I guess we're still on car park granddads then.
I think the car park granddads win it. Yeah,
it's another win.
It's you and your old people fetish.
I know.
Just a fetish.
It's not a fetish. I've been at my grandparents today, so I probably got that on the brain.
Man, that is really weird.
No.
You've got an old people fetish.
Well, I don't have an old person fetish.
I can see Dom going to a queue and stepping out of line on purpose just so he gets hit with a stick.
Come on now, just because I've won two, well, I haven't won, but just because I've sold two doesn't mean...
Go on,
yeah.
Tell me, go on.
So, in that case, I guess it's your turn to pitch us a problem.
Mm.
And I'm also just going to have a little vape. I was asked by two people just to clarify what the weird noise is on our podcast, and that would be me vaping.
Dan is Darth Vader. Go on, Dom.
Well, my problem is it's another pensioner-related problem.
You've got a real thing for those today.
I know, right? So I was around my grandparents earlier, looking after them, as you would, as a doting grandson. What are you doing?
I'm slowly, quietly putting my headphones
Ross is like
on.
Mission Impossible-ing his head as
You know why I was
on.
doing it quiet, Dom? To not draw attention to it? That's why. And you narrated it. Thanks, mate.
I'm just trying to pull back the curtain a little bit.
Yeah, well, I was trying to quietly get my headphones on without anyone noticing and making a sound.
But now he's got to edit out the pulling back of the curtain.
Oh, don't pull that out. It's quite funny.
Okay, cool. Anyway, you on with your elderly fetish. Go on. I'll tutter you in a minute.
He's had a quarter of a cider. He's already starting
He's taking his Apple Watch off.
He's getting ready for it.
It's not even a quarter. I've drunk the neck of the cider. I'm up for a fight.
See, I was trying to be nice there.
After half a cider.
There's two things everyone knows about me. I'm always late and I'm a lightweight.
That is true.
Ross turns into Bluto after a little bit of cider.
Why? So yeah, I was at my grandparents today and my granddad was having some trouble with his iPad and his emails specifically. So basically what had happened is, see, this is the thing, like, have you ever found when you provide tech support for older people, maybe even, I don't know, mostly my parents are okay with it, but I don't know about other people's, but when you provide tech support for people who aren't our generation, it's inexplicable what they do to their technology. So he was like, oh, I want my Talk email on here. And I was like, right, okay, so what's this email then? He's like, I don't know. And I was like, well, it's a Yahoo account. And he was like, what? And I'm like, yeah, it's got emails in it addressed to you. And he was like, no, I don't have a Yahoo account. I was like, well, you obviously do because it's on your iPad. So I don't know what's happened there. Anyway, so I tried to, where you do with an iPad, you just put the email address in and a password. So he gave me the password. I was like, it's the wrong password. He was like, well, no, that's the password. I was like, well, I'm telling you, it's a categorical fact. It's the wrong password.
Doesn't he have that thing that all people of an older generation have, which is a giant notebook full of every single password?
Yes. And I had to go through that notebook. But there has been actually literally 20 different passwords for this account. None of them have been crossed out. None of them show when they have been entered. None of them say this is the new. None of them jumps out and go, this is obviously the newest one put into this notebook. So I had to go through 20 different passwords to the one that he was like, it's definitely not that one. Guess what it was? Definitely the one he said it was definitely not.
Can I interject here? I thought my nan was so cool because she had a little notepad and so organised with little passwords for everything. I didn't realise every nan did it. And every granddad.
Yeah.
And it's like one of those things that as a sort of a 21st century young person, you're just advised against.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. You do not write your password down anywhere under any circumstances because everything is run through technology now.
Yeah.
And, if someone knew my password, I know this is really bad form as well, but they would know my password for literally everything.
The only thing that is not my password for everything is my Facebook account and my login on my phone. Everything else is the same. Exactly the same.
I have 5 different passwords that I rotate between accounts every 6 months.
He's got a cryptex. So he puts in,
like an Enigma machine.
He puts in what month it is, and then he puts in one password, and then that goes around to another one, and then that's the actual password he has to type in.
No, I just remember them, and then I rotate them every 6 months to different accounts. Some accounts have the same password on with slightly different variations of capital letters and numbers at the end.
Dom is cool 1.
Well, I know what yours is, Dan. Dan's penis is big number 2.
Why number 2?
69.
Because it looks like a piece of shit. That's all. What? File that one.
File. The one that always gets me with my dad is the internet will go down. And he'll say, my emails aren't working. I'm like, okay, fine. Let me just check. The internet's down. It's one of those little blips in internet where you just lose your connection for 30 seconds to a minute. And he'll call me out, and I'll say, yeah, it's fine. The internet's down. And he'll go, oh, for fuck's sake. I'm going to ring TalkTalk. It's nothing to do with TalkTalk. That's your email provider. Yeah, but, it's not loading up. And no, the emails are fine. The emails are still there. You're logging into a web browser to get the emails. The internet is down. You can't load anything up. Well, I loaded it up. But no. Yes, you've opened the program, but there is no internet there. Oh, well, every time it can't get it into his head. Oh, I'm going to ring TalkTalk. There's nothing wrong with TalkTalk. You have no connection, period. Because then when the TalkTalk website's down, when his email server's down, he's like, I'm going to bloody ring BT. It's nothing to do with BT, it's the website. The website's down, the website's not connecting. Yeah, well, they said that it's going to be this fast. It's got nothing to do with them.
I had this thing with him earlier. After I sorted out the iPad debacle with all the things and the inexplicable Yahoo account he didn't know he had. He was on his computer and he was...
account.
Probably. He was writing an email and then he went... Dom, I was like, yeah, and he goes, where's my folders? And I was like, and it's not like I've set this computer up for him or anything like that, and I don't really do it as a rule because it infuriates me, because I just expect him to know things that it's the thing is, they just don't have the same vocabulary we have for it, or the instinctual, right, this obviously goes here because that's how computers work, that's how software works, sort of thing. So he's like, where are my folders? And I was like, what folders? And he goes, my folders. And I'm like, what folders in what program and where? And he's like, in my email. And he meant Outlook.
Yeah.
And I'm like, right, okay, so someone's deleted them. And he's like, well, I didn't. And I was like, well, who else uses the computer? It's only me. Well, I was like, well, you've deleted them then. And he's like, well, I would know if I'd done that. And I was like, would you?
The good thing is with our age, because we were born, well, I was early 80s. You guys are late 80s, aren't you?
Late 80s.
Yeah, we
The
were,
very end of the 80s.
especially for you guys. I mean, we were around as computers were coming in. So I remember having my first computer in, it's probably 93, 94, a Packard Bell with a 0.8 gigabyte hard drive, right? And it's had a Pentium 66 processor, I want to say. 66.
64?
It would have been 64.
Probably
I had a
64.
feeling it was
69.
Yeah, 69.
Ooh.
But yeah, I remember having this first computer, and obviously it was running Windows 3.1, I think, because 95 hadn't come out.
Wow.
So it was running
Yeah,
3.1. So
We had-
to
we-
even run a game on it, you had to know a certain amount of MS-DOS code just to be able to, C :
Yeah, C.run, run.run, yeah.
Yeah, and all that stuff. So we've kind of grown up in that age where we've had to, if we wanted to play computer games, we have to know how to code stuff, and we've got that computer savvy mindset. Whereas my parents, only in their 50s, early 50s, that big section in the middle, as computers were coming in, they ignored them, like almost as if that will never catch on.
Yeah.
Kind of theory. And now the whole world is run by fucking computers. You can't even get customer service without emailing someone, and they've now had to dive back into that world, and it's way more advanced than it is, and they've kind of missed that giant gap in the middle of being with computers as they grow and as they get more complicated and more involved with your life. They've kind of missed that whole section.
No, go on.
No, I was just going to say that it will never catch on. People should really learn never to say that ever again, because literally everything that has changed the world, people go, that'll never catch on. The light bulb, that'll never catch on. Film, that'll never catch on. Look at where we are now. The internet, well, it's just for nerds, never catch on. People should just really learn just not to say it.
This podcast, it'll never catch on.
I think we're just sort of accidentally but well placed in sort of time, because the thing is, like, computers weren't really an everyday thing when I was at school. Like, every year sort of had one.
Yeah,
So, like,
twice a week, I'd do it.
And you used to have to go into someone else's classroom, and you'd all crowd around this computer to use Paint or whatever, that sort of thing. And then right at the end of primary school for me, so when we're like 10, 11, we got a computer suite in the school, which was like, 35 brand spanking new computers that had the internet, dial-up internet and things like that. And the thing is that the reason that we, I think, are sort of like problem solvers with it is because we had no idea what we were doing. So in order to get anywhere in doing it, you just had to sort of feel around and that sort of thing. And you just had to sort of experiment and try things out.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, my little brother isn't as computer literate as I am, because he's never had to do that, because it's all just been there. It's all just sort of worked.
User interface as well.
Yeah, no,
big
it's the
time.
same with Matt and me. Like, he's very like, oh, what's happened? And I'm just like, oh, no, you just do this. Yeah, because we had to play.
Because we were there when everything was still going wrong and everything still needed to be tweaked. And, it still took ages to do anything on there.
Yeah.
And you had to, you would sit down there and you would think, what can I do to improve this? What can I do to get around this? It takes me 10 minutes to load this up. There must be an easier way to do it.
Yeah, this titty picture's not coming up fast enough.
At times I would sit there for nearly 3 days playing with my computer, going into the BIOS, going into all this other stuff, just to get a game to work.
Yeah.
And obviously kids nowadays, if it doesn't work immediately, it's broken.
Yeah, but it's so simple now, isn't it? Like, I think about, because we had a really old computer as well that sort of one of our family friends gave us, because I was really interested in computers. We couldn't afford one. We didn't get our own computer until I was like 12, something like that. But we had one sort of like given to us, which had like games on floppy disks. And, and you used to have to go in and boot it, and then at parts of the game you'd have to swap out the floppy disk and then type in, even though it was in the same drive that the first floppy disk was in, you used to have to type in where the fucking file was on the floppy disk to get the next part of the game going. And like, they had these huge booklets telling you, like, and when you get to this point in the game, this is what you have to do, this is what you have to type in, but you have to insert whatever your letter, number, name is, all that sort of thing.
Yeah, I know. I completely remember that. And going back to your point about we had to play around with them. I was once staying at my uncle's house. He lived a bit further away, and we were staying around there for the weekend. And he's an early adopter of everything, so he's had every first like Apple computer and stuff like that. He's really into that sort of thing. And he said, "Oh, just sitting here playing on the computer. Here's a pinball game. You remember Microsoft Pinball?"
Oh, yeah,
absolutely.
And I must have been about 7, 8 at the time, possibly 95. It was running on 95, the computer anyway. And I was just sort of playing through it, and in my sort of childish ignorance, I managed to format his hard drive, reboot the computer, get into the BIOS, and like turn the clock speed up on the processor.
So you made the computer better.
I overclocked a processor, but I think I may have slagged the motherboard. Because I think I may have overclocked it to something ridiculous. And like I remember him sort of going to my dad, like, I was a bit young, so like, you know, when like parents have an argument, like, or like you've done something wrong at your uncle's house and your uncle wants to shout at your dad because he didn't want to shout at you, obviously, because you didn't know any better. But I could hear him sort of talking about going, "That's ruined now," and stuff like that, and about heat and hard drives, and yeah. So I managed that, but we were given space to make those mistakes.
Yeah,
back in those days, and like sort of work our way through it, and that's the best way to do it, isn't it?
Yeah,
the best way to learn is to fail. Sometimes I think.
Oh yeah, I failed a lot with computers.
Yeah.
And
like,
I'd get the Windows 95 disc back out and put it back in and reinstall it. Just because I'd fucked something up.
And coming back to your thing, like games, like where you had to, you know, literally get into DOS and get him to run and everything, like that's all done for like people now, especially like kids and stuff. They don't even know what's going on behind the scenes, whereas we have a better idea of that.
Yeah.
And that's why we are these troubleshooters. Coming back to that, going back to dial-up, my dad was one of the first people I ever knew to get an ISDN connection.
And at the time, didn't you think it's never going to get faster than this? This is fucking
amazing. I still sort of say that ISDN is faster than broadband because nobody was on it.
Oh,
because
it might have felt faster to you back then because you were in a slower world.
That is the thing, though, isn't it? Like if we have broadband trouble at home, I know now, you know, we're on fibre now, and it sometimes, because there's so many students and stuff living up our street, it slows down. It really drastically slows down, and
too much light
on all the connections. all the connections up on my estate are really poor. They're really old, and BT just haven't replaced them for years. So, you know, I'm sitting there and I'm like, oh my god, like, you know, I can't stream in HD tonight.
Oh no,
this sort of thing.
First world problem.
But oh my god, like if I would have killed for even, you know, like even on a crap day, it still clocks in at like 4 or 5 gig. I would have killed for that 5 years ago.
You would have killed to stream something.
Oh yeah,
like that large and that long.
Yeah,
7 years ago, say. You would have killed to stream an entire TV show
in that quality.
Oh god, yeah.
I was quite lucky because this house had been disconnected from the phone thing. I don't know what the word is. The pole. So they run brand new cables and everything for this when they put in our fibre. Wow. So we got brand new cables. So our internet here is ridiculously good. It's very good.
Yeah, I'm quite lucky as well because I live close to London. Yeah. My internet's the tits.
But you think nowadays, in the olden days, I say the olden days, the 90s, the late 90s, if you wanted to watch a film, if you wanted to download a film, you would download it in 480. Small.
Across 3 days.
Yeah, literally 3 days as well.
In pieces as well.
Yeah, and now, that's it. You'd have it in part 1, part 2, and part 3. And now, I go downstairs, if I want to watch something on Netflix in full HD, sometimes you can get 4K on HD now as well, on Netflix now.
Can you?
Go down, and you just hit play. There it goes. What was that theory called? The theory that memory has to, and processing power has to double every year.
I can't remember.
It has a person's name, isn't it?
Yeah.
But because of that, you think of the rate of expansion it's going to go. Like
it's exponential. That's the problem.
It's incredible now. But now the limitations of that are to do with the way that chips are constructed.
Yeah, it's to do with the substrate, isn't
They've got
it?
to change it now, haven't they? Get
Yeah.
biological with it. And
So
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
right. Yeah, because the way that they're all put together with all the diodes and connectors and stuff like that, they cannot physically get any smaller now.
Yeah.
So even though everything is so tiny, if you want it to get smaller, they need
But
to
they've been
look
saying
into
that
other
for
ways.
years, and then terabytes and terabytes of solid state hard drives are coming out. No
Yeah.
bigger than my iPhone and things, and they seem to still be doing more.
What'll be the gel substrate, like a as you said, organic. It's like a gel that has circuitry in it, but the gel also processes. It's like a nano sized thing.
Like a brain.
Basically, you're building what's a rudimentary electronic brain. This is getting very futurist.
And so now, like when you
Where were the piss jokes from last week?
like when you get a new laptop and you take everything off your old one, and then you put the old nail through the hard drive so no one can get hold of your data.
Yeah.
With these ones, you have to drop it into lava, and they'll put their thumb up. So what's the solution then?
Take the technology away from the elderly.
Yeah, maybe.
And let us just deal with it.
Or in a reverse of Q Nans and car park granddads.
I know what you're going to say, and you're about to steal my idea.
We're using the unemployed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was my idea too. Dan.
Turn the unemployed who have a relative amount of intelligence into tech support for nans and granddads. Put them in the pension. Where do they get their pensions from?
Government.
But what did I have to go to, like a place? Like, say you're
Post office.
unemployed and you go to the job centre, don't you? Where do you get your pension
I
from?
assume it just gets paid into your bank account.
I think
now,
nowadays
doesn't
it probably is direct.
Because I remember, you're giving. Some people go to the post office. So maybe because old people like the post office, right? They like standing in line.
They really do.
Love it.
That's the one place where queuing is observed. The post office. It's
the
like the
post office-
holy temple of queuing.
The post office always has more than enough cordoned off areas where you cannot step out of line.
That's true.
That's absolutely true.
Anyway, add another window. Tech support.
Tech support, yeah.
Tech support teenagers.
Because
We'd be so good at that.
yeah, we would.
Because
it
it have to
could-
pay at least 20k for me to do that.
That's
20k, Dom. Ramp it up a bit, come on.
Plus benefits.
Plus Werther's Originals.
You get those anyway.
Are we going to move on to somebody else's problems then?
I think we should.
Whose turn is it?
Well, I've done one. I think we've all done one.
I did one. Who did
We've
one
all done one.
first?
I did one first.
Have you got another one for us?
I do have another one. You got two to choose from, both as infuriating as each other.
I see.
So
Do you want to waste both of them on this podcast, Dan?
No. I'm going to let you choose
Oh, yeah.
which one. Would you like number one or would you like number two?
Oh, without hearing them.
Oh, what's behind door number 8 type
Yeah.
deal? Okay.
Oh, what if we both choose a different one?
Is number 1 about pissing and number 2 about poo?
No.
No clues in the titles then.
No clues.
What can we have a clue?
One is about something to do with your body,
My body in
not
particular?
your body.
Okay.
Just a body.
A body.
One's
And
body.
the other one is to do with it's just something that other people do.
I'm drawn to two.
I'm drawn to 2 because I like complaining about other people more than I like complaining about myself.
Okay, number two it is. It's people who use the wrong words in like well-known expressions and sentences and things like that.
Give us an example.
So like, why don't you come round our house? Spelt A-R-E.
Oh, no.
As opposed to
Kill them.
O-
Kill them all.
So are you talking specifically about people who write the wrong words
Not
or
necessarily.
say
No, so
the wrong
right. I'll give you
words?
another example. Without naming names, someone that we were out with on Saturday night used the expression, "It's been such a learning curve."
No way.
Was it my sister?
Yes. Because, what's
Forever, we like. My sister is the queen of these. She- I just knew instantly who it
I
was.
can't believe you got it that fast.
I've known her a long time.
Yeah. But I heard that and I was like, well, what's a learning curve? Like, it's just the instructions are written on the side of the road.
You have to like stare at them really closely.
There are a lot of these people around. I meet them regularly.
Yeah.
I know exactly what you mean.
I did have a couple of examples written down. One, I mean, my job is obviously heavily involved in social media, so I see people from all walks of life writing, the first thing that comes into their head sometimes. And here's another example, because my favourite ones are when people know what the expression sounds like, but don't know what the actual words are. The other one the other day is someone had lost like some of their possessions at some point. I can't remember what the exact context was. And they said, I'm looking for this because it is a sentimental picture. A mental.
No.
It's crazy in the middle of that picture. It's like staring into hell.
Yeah, sentimental.
Oh, mate. Oh, bless them, though, because they know what it means and they know the context in which to say it, and they're even using it in the right sentence, but they just don't know the words.
But that's the thing, isn't it? Like, they've been... And the problem is that they've been saying the entire time they've known that expression, they've been saying, oh, yeah, that is really sentimental to me. And thinking, and you can completely understand what they're saying, but they've just got it completely wrong in their head.
Yeah, it's not they write it down.
Actually, thinking about it, though, if it was going to be anything... it would be that, because it's sort of like it's in the centre of my mind. Like, it's so important. It's enshrined.
He's making it make sense.
In the centre
it makes perfect
of
sense,
my mind.
It does make perfect sense, Dom. You've rationalised it for me.
Obviously, that person is an idiot, but...
I'm not sure.
Like, if you hear that, it's sentimental, isn't it? It's not sentimental.
No, but I see what you're getting at.
Yeah, I get it.
It's like when people say, though. You do say that in a sentence. You do say, like, oh, you come at our house.
It's our house.
It is, it is actually our house, and it is sentimental, not sentimental. But you say it.
I suppose
it's the you're, and there that fuck me off the most, if I'm honest. Yeah. I don't see why it's so fucking hard.
I don't know either.
It isn't hard, is it?
I am almost at the point of just cracking my phone out and showing you used the wrong one earlier on.
Did I use the wrong one? Did I actually? Hang on.
Which one of us, Ross?
Ross.
Did I?
Fuck.
Oh, he's been sandbagged live.
Look, I can read you the message. Yes, please, Dan. You are ciders still in my fridge.
What time is that sent?
Just after 11.
Oh, I noticed that this morning, yeah. You are ciders.
You are ciders.
You're ciders, but you are you.
Why are you apostrophe R-E?
Yeah.
Oh, what a prick!
You are your ciders.
I'm just gonna go kill myself.
So, what was our solution to it, Ross? You wanted them all to be slaughtered.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree.
With your head first on the chopping block.
I'll take my punishment. I fucking hate those people. No, I think I was. It depends who's listening. Texting whilst driving earlier, but I certainly wasn't driving at 11 this morning. I was in bed.
No, it's okay.
You were groggy. You'd just woken up.
I'd just woken up. Yeah.
The thing is, I don't mind so much now the there, your thing, stuff like that.
It's full on mistakes.
Doesn't bother me too much. But yeah, it's when people have just got like that it's just a completely wrong word,
taking the wrong grasp of the English language.
Yeah, at least your and your, it's the same word just spelled differently.
Yeah,
but sentimental.
Yes,
sentimental.
That is pretty good.
Pretty good. Learning curve was pretty special as well.
Learning curve, yeah. There's loads of them. I see them all the time.
The only way to fix this is to send them back to bloody school to learn properly. But then you don't learn words like that, do you? You don't learn those phrases. Until you're out in the world.
No, I suppose not.
I don't know what solution there is, because I would just comment on these things and say, you're an idiot, but you just can't do that to everyone, because I'm not quite that much of a dick. I'm almost there.
See, I'll tell you what you need to do. You need to put an app on someone's phone called Nan app. No, I'm joking. And every time you do something... No, but you could get an app on someone's phone, and every time they make one of those mistakes, it flags up with their mistake and just sort of puts them down Just a little bit. Not like, what a fucking idiot you are, but like sort of like, you do realise you've made a big mistake here and everybody thinks you're being a bit silly. I don't know.
I have a solution.
Oh.
It involves Apple, obviously.
Obs.
Because when you write something on your phone, it comes up underlined in red.
Yeah.
And when it's spelt wrong, and then generally auto-corrects itself anyway. Why not just have those things auto-correct themselves? So have the fables, like, is it a fable? Is that the right word?
Phrase. Turn of phrase.
Phrase, yeah, like a turn of phrase already programmed into the phone. So when they see those list of words together and it's close, but it's not quite right, it comes up underlined in, like, I don't know, like a colour, and tells you you're an idiot and it's wrong.
See,
and then you learn.
I would think that it would catch it with, like learning curve. It might say,
Yeah.
Are you sure you don't mean learning curve? But what about sentimental? Because that is so far. That's the problem, isn't it? Because autocorrect on a phone is great, apart from when you have fuck all idea of how to spell the word. When you put in some really weird word that you never use, but you want to spell it, and you give it a punt at spelling it before you Google it.
Yeah.
And you type it in, and it's so wrong that autocorrect doesn't know what you're trying to say.
It happens a lot, yeah.
Basically, you're saying the phone would have to recognise the idiosyncrasies of language then?
It would have to be AI.
So
it'd have to pass the Turing test again.
Yeah.
Your iPhone would have to pass the Turing test.
But then when else would you put the words centre and mental together? You would never really use those two words together.
But the phone, the computer can't recognise that. It doesn't...
Someone would have to tell it, centre and mental together. Someone would have to know that was a regular mistake that someone makes.
Yeah, but
put those two words together and then question it.
Yeah, but when do you want to put... But when, in the hundreds of things that are in every day, like a novelist wants to call somewhere the sentimental or something like that and type it in. See, the computer can't recognise context.
No, but then it would underline it and just question it. So rather than auto-correcting it for you and you getting fucking furious and deleting it and keep typing it and keep changing it, just to question it, just to underline it in maybe in pink.
Are you sure?
Are you sure that you mean sentimental? Because the one occasion that a novelist is writing something and they do write the words centre and mental together, which wouldn't normally go in a normal sentence, to be questioned is okay. It's acceptable.
So you think some sort of artificial intelligence?
I think we need to invent AI.
Or I tell you what you need. You just need have you got the Facebook like button? We need an interactive interface. So when you see someone spell it completely wrong, you've got one button. You might have to pay for it, and it just reaches out, slaps them.
You have to install some sort of hand contraption in the phone. Just comes out.
Yeah. It does something really inconvenient.
Yeah, locks the phone for 10 hours or something like that.
Yeah. All it has up on the screen is a dictionary.
Or
that's what you can access for 12 hours.
Or you highlight the sentence and you pay your $5 or whatever to send it to them, and it locks the phone, and until they've written the correct sentence 5 times in a row, you can't unlock it for 10
lines
hours.
At school.
Absolutely. I love that idea. I think that's the best idea.
But what you're saying essentially here is that you want to critically review Facebook statuses.
Yes.
I agree with Dan.
I'm agreeing with Ross on this one, with the little app or the AI that tells you,
it questions you,
subtly questions you.
That's strange because I'm with Dan.
Are you?
What was your idea, Dan?
Well, how the tables have turved.
You have to.
You're such a dick.
My idea was that you would sort of highlight it. If you notice it, highlight it, and you'd have to pay money.
Oh yeah, you'd have to do your lines. Yeah,
and it sends a command to their phone.
Absolutely, I think that's the best idea because that way, it's the way they can learn. It's teaching people. It's giving them an education.
What, they're locking the phone?
Locking your phone until you write the same sentence out 5 times correctly, and then you can get back into your phone again. I like it.
Okay.
But who would buy that phone though? That's the only problem. Because if I knew that the phone was going to correct me all the time, and
I still like that subtle hint idea because that's marketable.
That probably will be a thing.
But things like that, people do not go in for things like that. Think about the Microsoft paperclip.
Yes.
That was helpful. Are you trying to send this? Are you trying to do this? Yeah, and everyone just got fucking pissed off with it.
Only our generation, because we knew better. We knew better than a paperclip, Dan.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
That's true. The paperclip needs to make a resurgence.
No, I have.
Was that you again?
Yeah.
I think that heralds.
Well, our time is up.
That's it.
The third part heralds the end of the show.
Go ahead, Dom. Wrap it up.
Right. So the third fart has sounded.
It's going to be an actual thing now. There's 1 week you're not going to be able to fart. It's going to go on for 8 hours.
Yeah, you have to go on with Dan's fart.
Or
that
I'm
means
going to
he's
pop a blood vessel trying to do one.
just his eyeball just popping out.
He really wants to go home.
And then there's the episode that's the highest rated one where Dan shits himself.
So we need a name for the podcast for the
episode.
week. For the episode.
What is the episode going to be called?
Well, I'm going to put my idea in, and that's going to be Q Nans and Car Park Granddads.
I don't have anything better.
I've got
Damn, mate.
Nans, sayings, and automobiles.
Oh,
Yeah,
that is a John Hughes reference. I like it.
Yeah.
yeah. You've got to be the decider on this one because we're going to vote for our own.
Oh, give it to me again. Go.
Q Nans and Car Park Granddads.
Nans, sayings, and automobiles.
Oh, I've got a real thing. I'm afraid, Dom. I've got a real thing with 3-word statements. like 3-part statements.
Fine. Dan wins again.
Oh, did he win last time?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He won last time. Think about it.
Did I choose last time?
No, I think I actually went, oh, that's better than mine. And I sort of...
Do you not agree this time that it's better than yours?
No.
Oh.
I think it's funny, but I think mine's funny as well.
Well, as long as you're all right with hurting Dom's feelings, and Dan, I'll go with you.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I thought you might be. Well, that's that then.
That's that. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the third fart has sounded, and that's enough for See If It Sticks. I've been Dom.
I've been Ross.
I've been Dan.
Will you have a sign off yet?
We websites and Twitters and things.
Oh, yeah. You can get in touch with us on our website, www.seeifitsticks.
No. There's more W's in that anyway. You did too.
What, you do the website.
Stick it pod. No, Sticky Pod.
Sticky Pod?
Stick it pod. Stickitpod.com.
Stick it pod? Stick it. You can come get in touch with us at stickitpod.com.
Stick it pot.
Stick it. It's one of those people.
This has been a learning curve.
Oh, shit. Don't, Dan. You get me all sentimental.
Try again.
Right. You can come visit us at stickypod.com.
No.
Right. You can come visit us at stickitpod.
Oh my god.
You can come.
Careful, the full fart's going to sound a minute. Your time's up.
You can, just stick it. You can visit us at stickitpod.com. Get in touch with us at stickitpod
No.
on Twitter.
No, it's
Twitter?
actually at See If It Sticks.
At See If It Sticks on Twitter. And See If It Sticks, just put that into Facebook and you'll find us.
Correct.
Right then.
Well done, mate.
Cool. Well, I've been Dom.
I've been Ross. We did this, didn't we?
Yeah, I've just remembered we did.
And I'm still Dan.